this is a funny thing that came up during the week. Reese sent me, there were some wild COVID breaches. Did you send the articles to me? One was an article and one was just a...
Both Messenger.
Oh, right. They're both in an article. Okay. So this is real, by the way. I kept asking Reese. I was like, you sure it's not fake? It sounds fake. There's no way this is real. He goes, I can assure you they talked about it at a press conference. At least it was reported as real. Oh, I want to read the tweets that you sent me first before I read the article, because the way the tweets were just...
It's all in Messenger.
The way the tweets were just dot pointed was fucked. It was like reading an Onion article or the Batuta Advocate. It said, this is like a journalist tweeted, the New South Wales Commissioner just detailed one COVID breach. 2 men were sunbaking naked on a South Coast beach. They were startled by a deer and ran into a national park. The men then got lost and needed to be rescued by the SES. Now, already, I've got some questions. 1, don't be nude during a pandemic when you're actually... Also, don't be out of the house during a lockdown. Like, don't be the dickhead who's breaching COVID, right? But if you are going to be that dickhead, don't have your balls out. I reckon that should just be a rule. You should be fined double if your cock's out when you're fucking risking other people's lives. That should just be in general. If you murder someone with your cock out, you're a savage. You get double life sentence. You know, if you assault someone with your cock out, double again. Don't be an asshole, but don't do it with your cock out, right? Secondly, why was there a deer at the beach? I've been thinking about this since you sent it to me. And thirdly, and most importantly, and you raised this, a very good point, if you were startled by a deer, don't run into a national park. There's much more chance there's going to be more deer where it came from than on the beach. Because I've never seen a deer on a beach. No. I've seen a jellyfish on a beach. I've seen a washed up seal on a beach. It was very sad. I've seen a starfish on a beach. I've seen a fish at a beach. I've never seen a deer. So if I was them, if I was startled by the deer, now I understand that the deer was on the beach. Go into the water. The deer can't swim. And also you're naked, so go into the water anyway. Cover your dick, you fucking savage. Throughout this whole time, dude, that must be just would have been one of the best videos of all time.
Or like their
just
reaction,
a couple blokes sunbaking on the beach. They see a deer. Because you know what? Like when no one has ever looked cool running naked.
No.
Do you ever like watch, videos of like streakers in professional sport?
Yep.
They never look cool. Like especially when guys do it. Like maybe it's just because I'm attracted to women. But even when women run naked, like if things are bouncing around, it's not sexy. Like it's not sexual running naked. Like, and you know what? Running startled and scared. You'd be flinging everything around. There'd be dicks flapping everywhere. There'd be limbs. It'd be a disgusting sight. Guys in particularly running. I just could imagine like me running down the street naked. It wouldn't be graceful.
No.
It'd just be. I mean, first of all, my cock would be fucking hitting trees, and I'd probably be tripping over it. That's a whole other thing. But this whole thing confuses me. And then there's the embarrassment of they clearly had to tell the story because some SES guy in like the orange suit, are they volunteers, the SES, or are they paid? Either way, shit job. Like, they do great work and it's a fucking waste of their time. They're supposed to be like cleaning up roads that, trees fall on and like actually doing emergencies, right? Not finding 2 nude dudes who were startled by a deer in the bush. That's so selfish. They weren't supposed to be out there in the first place. Even if without COVID, that'd be embarrassing. If some SAS was like, Kiwi, and then you were just like nude and you're like, fuck.
But I wonder how like the deer approached them. Like, was it just like chilling, just wandering around? Dude, or would it just been, was it aggressive?
Mate, the blokes think that they were startled. Think of the poor deer. He's just gone to the beach. I'm going to hang out. There's no humans around because of this COVID thing. This is great. Then he just The deer's like, do, walks into the beach, sees two fucking flaccid cocks just sunbaking in the sun, probably freaked out. I bet you the deer was like, I don't think that's what a horse would do. This is wild. So anyway, this is a real thing that happened. And is the South Coast Beach, is that in Sydney? Is this New South Wales? If so, I'm glad they get it. You know what I mean? I'm not glad that there's cases. That's horrible. But I'm glad they're being locked down because they only got fined $1,000. That should be the fine for public indecency alone. They were 30 and 49. Yeah, Otford in Sydney. This happened in Sydney at 6 p.m. on Sunday.
Wales, yeah.
Police said the younger man had been discovered naked and carrying a backpack. Jeez, fucking Dora the Explorer grew up, and transitioned. This is incredible. It's difficult to legislate against idiots, Commissioner Fuller said. Not only did they require assistance from the SES, but they also both received a ticket for $1,000. That's not enough because the COVID fine should be more, but also what about the fact that they were nude? Or are you allowed to be naked in a national park? I don't know.
Was it a nudist beach?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they might have been allowed to be naked on the beach, but definitely not in the park, I guess. I guess it's not the worst thing in the world. They're just hanging schlong. But this one, another one came in, another COVID breach. This is why Australia will just never get over it because we're just a country of fuckwits. Like for every, 10 people, there's one fuckwit. That's usually our ratio in this country. I'm one of the 10, by the way. I want to make that very clear. But actually not this much of a fuckwit. I'm like this is a better way to explain it. For every 10 people, there's 4 fuckwits. 3 of them have common sense and are all right blokes.
Yeah.
One of them is actual fucktard, right? I'm not the actual one. I'm just one of the guys that's like, he's a bit of a laugh, but he sometimes knows when to stop. I think I would know when to stop. If I was nude on a beach and I saw a deer, I'd be like, time to go home. Like that'd just be my rule, I think. So this one, 3 arrested in South Australia karaoke bar after flying from New South Wales in private plane. Now, look, you're probably thinking, firstly, and this is the first thing I thought when I read this story, if you could afford a private plane, your own personal charter flight, maybe a jet, and you could escape to anywhere in Australia right now, why would you go to South Australia? And when I first read this, I was like, oh, they went to Adelaide. And I was like, oh, cool, rough, fair enough.
Yeah.
Adelaide's nice. It's quiet. I'll give them that. Right? It's actually might be a nice place to go. Reese, they didn't go to Adelaide. They went to Cooper Pedy, which is, if you don't know, a town in Australia that gets so hot that people live underground, actually like hobbits. And I'm not lying. International people might be like, you don't actually live underground. I shit you not. I've been there on a school trip. We slept in a cave. I was like Fred Flintstone for the night. It was wild.
That's why I probably went there to like, oh, no one's going to find us here.
I know. But also, not a great place to hide because there's no one there. And if a new person rocks up in town on a private jet, that's going to raise some suspicions. Like, it's not a place, I've been there. It's one street above ground. They do have like a few above ground buildings. And then it's a lot of opal mining, shit like that. It's mainly just miners or families of miners who occupy the town. It's just desert. It kind of reminds you know what it reminds me of? That town in Cars, Radiator Springs, but if it was underground.
Yeah.
Like if you go there, you went off the freeway and you're lost, right? Or you took a private jet there because you're a fucktard. They allegedly, landed in Cooper Pedy on a private plane after they had already been denied entry to the Northern Territory. Rich people piss me off so much. Oh, that makes me so angry that they just were like, oh, we're not doing COVID like the poor people. And they just went to the arguably the worst place in Australia and then went to a karaoke. This is why rich people suck. they were like, what are we going to do in karaoke? By the way, I've just realized, why did Cooper Pedy have a karaoke bar? Is there that much demand? When I went there, I didn't like see a demand for tunes.
Yeah.
I saw a demand for cash when I went there. There's a lot of people going, well, this is a short-term thing.
What I want to know is what track were they belting out when the cops busted in?
Yeah. Yeah. It better have been something worth it.
Yeah.
If you sang like Dolly Parton, oh, I'll be so mad. If you are halfway through Jolene, Jolene, get your hands behind your back. You're like, Jolene, no. Not worth it, dude. But if you were pumping like, you know what they wouldn't have been pumping? The rich fucks. Working class man.
No way.
Those snobs. No, they wouldn't be into Jimmy Barnes. What are rich people like? Coldplay. I bet you they were just like pumping out like clocks. It was all yellow. And they were just like singing it all posh as well. Somewhere